Yo, what's happening? This is my second attempt at a podcast. My first one, if you all know, I started back in 2014, called the Talking to Myself Monologues. That shit sounded gay. And I didn't know that until I just said it right now. The Talking to Myself Monologues. Now, the one of the reasons why I stopped doing the fucking podcast was because I was basically just trying to carve out a niche and help people that were trying to get into comedy, be comedians and blah blah blah, whatever the fuck. But I was like, nah, I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I need to do some shit that's I guess you could say relatable to me, but not just to me, but to the people. Cause I'm a person and I go through people shit. And I finally just said, fuck it. I'm just gonna do this podcast and I'm gonna model it after Bill Burr's podcast because for a couple reasons. One, I'm by myself in my house, and I have no job. Two, my car is broken, um, at the moment, and I think I might get into that later, depending on whether or not my mind let me remember it. My car's broken, so I can't go nowhere. So I'm kind of like a prisoner of my own fucking house right now because I have no job and no car. Basically, what I'm saying to y'all is right now I have the qualifications and the profile of a deadbeat nigga. But here is the kicker. I set up a way to make passive income so I'm making money, but not a substantial amount of money to where I can help take care of shit, but enough money to kind of keep me afloat. And yeah, I just had some fucked up, unfortunate circumstances. But before I get into all that, let me just say this. For all of you that are new listening to this, because I'm pretty sure there's only going to be one motherfucker that's going to listen to this shit. My name is Milton Hall. I am a stand-up comedian. I'm from Miami, Florida. And yeah, this is my podcast, nigga. Welcome, motherfucker. And you know what this podcast is about? Shit that is on my mind. That is exactly what this goddamn podcast is about. The things I want to fucking talk about. Y'all gonna get to know me. And the things that I want to talk about are gonna just come to me in my mind. Some shit I have kind of like a talking point of fucking what I want to talk about. Some of the things that I don't. But this is just a way. This is like a audio diary. So let's get into it. God damn it. All right. So like I said, this is gonna be some just me talking shit, like on some Bill Burr type stuff. If you don't know who Bill Burr is, he's a fucking phenomenal stand-up comedian that I consider one of the greats in comedy. And he has a podcast called the Monday Morning Podcast, where he is basically doing the same exact shit I'm doing right now. But the difference between me and him is that this nigga's famous and he's not a nigga. He's white. But he has a black wife and a mulatto child. That's what they would say in the 40s and 50s. Mulatto. Nah, but that dude's fucking awesome. I love Bill Burr. I love his shit, man. So that's enough. Let me get off his dick for right now and let me get back to my shit. So nigga, how about, okay, let me tell y'all something about me, nigga. I love movies. I love the fuck out of, I'll watch a movie all goddamn day if I need to. Not even need to, if I just want to. I can just fucking watch movies, man. I'm a movie buff. I visualize. When I go to the movies, I don't just go to the movies. I visualize. Like when I walk past the posters, I visualize myself being on those posters, and I know it's gonna happen one day, because one thing y'all gonna learn about me throughout the course of me putting out these podcasts is I'm one of those esoteric type of niggas that believe in numerology and zodiacs and all that other shit. And the reason why I believe in those things are for no other reason that the shit that I've been reading about me is goddamn true, or at least most of it is. Not all of it, but 99% of that shit is fucking true about me. So that's a very, 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 very substantial type of thing. But I also don't believe in having sedentary beliefs. I always believe that we evolve, we grow, we just do all type of shit, man. And motherfuckers, you ain't no goddamn tree, nigga. Why the fuck do you just have to have certain beliefs all the fucking time, especially if somebody even present to you a new form of or school of thought? So anyway, I'm a movie buff, and I went to go see the Belko Experiment. I remember seeing the previews for this fucking movie, and I was like, yo, this movie is gonna be fucking amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that this movie did not disappoint in the realm of what I thought it would be. And what I thought it would be based on the previews is exactly what the fuck it was. A whole lot of goddamn senseless ass killing for no fucking reason. And you see some shit in that goddamn movie that is fucking crazy. And let me tell you something. This movie, as far as with blood and guts and spit and ass being everywhere, that shit is a fucking 39 and a half on a scale of 10, nigga. That's how much blood and guts and spit and ass is in this fucking movie, man. I'm talking about you see niggas getting hatcheted with fucking axes. You see niggas getting fucked up, man. I'm talking about like, damn. I ain't never seen nobody get their fucking head bashed in with the fucking tape dispenser. A tape dispenser, nigga. This nigga got killed with a tape dispenser. You gotta watch this shit to go see what the fuck I'm talking about. But nigga, when you get your fucking head bashed in with school supplies, nigga, you look at Office Depot a whole new goddamn way after that shit. You like, nigga, I don't even want to go down the tape dispenser aisle, motherfucker. That shit fuck with your mind kinda like how fucking Final Destination fuck with your mind. Cause like on our way to the movie theater, on our way to I was driving early in the morning, headed to drop my old lady off. And we was riding behind this fucking truck with the them trucks with the big fucking, they be having the tree barks and shit, which is the dumbest shit in the world. I just don't get that shit. But they had a big ass tree barks attached to the back of the truck. That shit was on that bitch. And I remember watching Final Destination and the fucking strap bust loose and that shit hit the nigga went through somebody's windshield and killed them. That's what the fuck be going on in my mind, and that's what the fuck you'll kind of feel like after you see this nigga get his head bashed in with tape dispensers. You'll never look at tape dispensers like that shit ever a fucking again, dude. The only downfall with the Belko Experiment that I had, the only problem with this fucking movie that I had was the ending of it. The ending was trash with a capital rash. That shit was booty butt cheeks. Booty butt cheeks. Shout out to the Boondocks. I missed that goddamn show. But that fucking movie was ass meat garbage, nigga. I'm not the movie. I mean, the ending of that movie was fucking ass meat garbage. I'm a type of nigga that I like depth to my movies. Like fuck with my mind a little bit. Like make make it some shit that could possibly be that could possibly happen in America or the world that I'm living in, and have a little twist to it. Like, have some more substance to that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like the movie Get Out. That was one substantive ass movie, man. I'm talking about from beginning to end through that movie was just straight substance, nigga. Shit that only black people would relate to or understand, or white people that have hung around black people a lot would get. That movie just had layers and layers of depth to it, man. And then just the metaphorical aspect of that movie of him being in the quote unquote sunken place. And that just being a reference point to how black people feel in America when they trying to get their point across. Like how hard we have to fight just to be even heard in white America, and just how white America just so easily dismisses black people, and we just feel like we're just hollering and yelling and screaming and nobody is fucking listening to us. They just looking at us like, bitch, shut up. So that was the Belko Experiment. That shit was, as far as with gore, bloods and guts and shit like that, that motherfucker is a 39.5 on a scale of 10, nigga. That motherfucking movie was, as far as with that shit is action packed. If you sleepy, you can watch that movie and that shit'll keep your monkey ass up without question. So that was that. The Belko Experiment. Dave Chappelle. Oh, nigga. Should we get into this now? Should I go ahead and wait till later and give y'all my assessment of the greatness and genius of this nigga? Fuck. I think I'm gonna wait. I think I got like a couple of more topics I want to touch on. But I'm also saying this shit and my mind is like, nigga, I don't know what the fuck you want to talk about. I ain't got shit to really say. That's how my mind works sometimes. Like, I be having shit that I want to be talking about, but nigga, this shit don't, the shit just be acting, my mind be acting fucked up sometimes. And I gotta stop saying that shit. Because I do believe your words become, your thoughts become things, man. Whatever you think, you can make happen. That's one thing I do believe. So anyway, I guess fuck it. I just start talking about Chappelle and whatever the fuck happens. If you've been listening for this amount of time, it's about 13 minutes. If you've been listening for this goddamn long shit, then I'm pretty sure that you're gonna be rocking with me to the end of this shit. I'm gonna try not to make it long because I like to talk. My profession as a comedian is me talking, but a lot of the times, let me tell y'all something about comedians, and not just any comedian, because you got some of those comedians that these motherfuckers are just on all the time. And I cannot stand no comedian that is on all the time. What I mean by on? Nigga that's always trying to be funny. I cannot stand them. I'm funny all the time because I'm a comedian and I did one open mic ass niggas. I cannot stand that shit. And any goddamn comedian that has some type of resume or some type of body of work in comedy that takes this craft fucking seriously will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, one of the things that they hate, aside from motherfucking people that want to come up to you after they seen you on stage and saw you make them laugh and they felt inspired, now they want to come up after you after the show and give you some fucking pointers. Like, these niggas been doing comedy way longer than you. Like, these niggas Joan Rivers or fucking Chris Rock or some shit giving you tags like, yeah, nigga, here, let me tell you something funny. Here you go. You can have that right there.
This nigga, my dog Charles, this nigga had a stapler and he stapled his fingernails on his dog ass. You can have that if you want to. Them niggas. The one other thing that we hate more than fucking that is comedians that's always trying to be funny. It's like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, I want to slap the fucking comedy hack out of your goofy ass. Just shut the fuck up, nigga. We don't give a shit about you being funny all the god. Nigga, we comedians. Save that shit for the audience. Motherfucker, you ain't gotta try and make me laugh as a fucking... I don't give a shit about you. I don't care, nigga. We doing the same fucking thing. Fuck you trying to make me laugh for? Jackass Jones? Get the fuck out my face, man. That shit is annoying, dog. Niggas always trying to be funny. Yeah, motherfucker, I'm trying to... I cannot stand that shit. I think any comedian would fucking tell you that shit. We cannot stand that goofy shit right there. Fuck, that is annoying. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. I just went off on a tangent. And that's one thing you'll learn about me is I go on these tangents sometimes. But anyway, if you're an aspiring comedian, don't be that goddamn comedian. One thing about comedians is that, nigga, in order for you to... I heard Chris Rock said this shit and it makes so much sense to me. Because when you tell people, if you're an aspiring comedian and when you decide to become a comedian, you take this shit seriously and you tell other people that you are a comedian, the first thing these motherfuckers gonna do is they're gonna smile, they're gonna look at you, and if they jackasses, they're gonna ask you to make them laugh. Anybody that don't respect your craft as a comedian anybody that respects the craft of a comedian and understands the craft of comedy would not disrespect you or your craft by asking you to make them laugh in some instance. That's the most disrespect, in my opinion, that's the most disrespectful shit ever. Cause it's like, these motherfuckers don't even respect the artistry, the work, the time that goes into just honing a bit. But these motherfuckers don't respect you. They don't respect it. They just looking at you like a human automatic joke telling machine. Like you just gonna fling out, yeah, nigga, tell me a joke, make me laugh. Say something funny. Like, say something funny? Get the fuck out my face. How's that for funny, nigga? Like, so to all the people that's listening to this podcast, if you know a comedian or you hang around a comedian, do not fucking ask them to make you laugh. That is not their job to make you laugh, you selfish, inconsiderate motherfucker. This shit ain't about you, nigga. I just can't stand that shit, dog. But anyway, yeah. So being a comedian, don't let nobody do no shit like that to you or your fucking craft. But let's get on to the topic at hand. Dave fucking Chappelle, man. God damn it. This nigga was... Okay, so March 21st, 2017, if you haven't known or if you don't know, you've been living under a fucking rock, Dave fucking Chappelle put out 2 specials. One is called The Age of Spin. The other is called Deep in the Heart of Texas. The first one, Age of Spin, was shot at the Hollywood Palladium. If you are a real comedy aficionado or you know anything about comedy, you will also know that he shot that film in the same theater Richard Pryor shot
Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip. If you don't know what special that is, that's the one where he's this big giant. He's like a giant on the cover, like a car, and he looking like he's in a tuxedo in Hollywood, and he's holding his leg as if a car ran over his foot or some shit. That's the expression that he's giving you. And here's the mythology behind that and the point of reference, the point in why I referenced Richard Pryor is because of the story, which is not really a story, it's a fact. Richard Pryor, I don't know how many shows he shot. I think it was only one or maybe two, but Richard Pryor bombed on a special. He bombed while shooting his special. For all you noobs that don't know what bombing is in comedy, bombing is when you fucking get on stage and die. Nothing goes well. All you hear is fucking crickets. You just got your ass on stage and you just died. 1,000 fucking deaths, nigga. Richard Pryor bombed on his special. Nigga, let me tell you the significance of that for a comedian. When you bomb on your special, this is the fucking big game for comedians. This is why we go on, this is why we go to open mics and go to do guest spots and do little 5-minute slots. This is what the fuck we are building up for. This is this is the comedy equivalent to the Super Bowl for us, nigga. A special. It's the comedy equivalent to the Super Bowl for us, nigga. Not accolades, not awards, but a special. Filming your 1 hour special is your goddamn coup de grace, nigga. That is your magnum opus. Your motherfucking crescendo, nigga. That's what the fuck that is, nigga. It is the climax. This is the nut buster of your comedy career. When you have a 1 hour special, that means you done shot your load off in the comedy game and niggas done saw you coming. Did you see what I did there? You shot your load off in the comedy game and now niggas see you coming. How's that shit for motherfucking, I don't know the fucking word for it, puns. There we go. How's that for a pun, motherfucker? And I don't even know if that's really what the fuck that is, because nigga, I'm smart, but I ain't that goddamn smart. I'm that motherfucking smart where I can put shit together. Like, I know the definition of words when I hear them in sentences, but I don't know the actual physical definition of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I'm that motherfucking smart. Like, I can decipher and decode some shit and put it together in use and make that shit sound good for me. Anyway. So that is the significance of that shit. So basically, Richard Pryor bombed in the fucking Super Bowl, nigga, of his special. Now granted, the great thing about that is usually when specials are shot, I don't know if y'all know this or not, usually they do two tapings. And the great thing about that is that now the way to pull it off is this thing called continuity. Continuity is basically when if you film in a set or you film in a special, you have to have shit look consistent. Your wardrobe has to look consistent. If you have hair, your hair has to look consistent and look a certain fucking way. I'll give you an example that you could do some research on as far as with what I mean by continuity. Watch Cat Williams' It's Pimpin'.
because you'll see the biggest difference in continuity because one, he has a perm, and two, he's gonna sweat the fuck out of his goddamn perm and his outfit in both setting in both tapings. And it is, I think during his bit about his son Malik having ADD and they putting this nigga on Adderall or some shit like that. Watch his shirt and watch the tie. You're gonna see in certain bits of that, you're gonna see in certain parts of that bit, his tie is gonna be coming out the bottom through his shirt in one part, and then the next part is gonna be gone. That's what the fuck lack of continuity would look like. But in a nutshell, he has continuity, but that's one of those continuity faux pas, I guess you can say. So that is the significance of the whole Hollywood Palladium shit, is because the greatest, what people would probably look at as the fucking Michael Jordan of comedy, bombed at his fucking Super Bowl. He didn't do a good fucking job. But here's the legend behind that, and this is what makes him great. Not that he failed, is that he got himself back up and did the shit all over again the next night and fucking destroyed, which is the special that you see. And during that time, here's another, I guess you could say, footnote of that whole situation, is that shit went to the movies. So put all that shit into perspective, that this was shit that was being filmed not for DVD. This was back in 83. I'm sorry, 82, I believe it was. I think it was 82 because Richard Pryor, then he shot Here and Now, which he shot Here and Now in New Orleans. That's when the SOS band, he had the SOS band playing Just Be Good to Me. Ooh, he had that shit playing in the beginning. And the only reason why I remember that is because I always remember that Richard Pryor's last special, Here and Now, was also the year Eddie Murphy's first special came out. Delirious, 83. That's when he wore the crimson and fire engine. One's crimson and one's fire engine. You gotta watch the Byron Allen interview to understand that reference right there. Ain't nobody gonna remember that shit. Anybody gonna see that shit. Give me that. So yeah, so that infamous red leather suit was one's crimson and one is not actually red. It's crimson and fire engine red. Two different reds. Okay, so now that we got the significance behind that, and that is part of the reason why Dave Chappelle filmed. I don't know if that's actually part of the reason why, but I put that together as far as with, I just put that venue, that reference point of the venue of where he shot that shit together. Not saying that he said that. I'm not saying that Dave Chappelle said that. And I'm not saying that was the reason why he did it. I'm just telling you the historical significance of the Hollywood Palladium, and I just put that shit together like, oh, this nigga did that shit. That's the same place Richard Pryor shot his shit and bombed, but came back and fucking did a phenomenal fucking whatever the fuck. All right, so boom, Age of Spin. This nigga shit opened up with motherfucking Morgan goddamn Freeman. The shit that was awesome to me because it was kind of like two intellectual juggernauts from two different genres of entertainment amalgamating to fucking put together to come together and do something memorable. Everybody know who the fuck Morgan Freeman is. This nigga been looking 83 since he was 15. This nigga ain't never aged. He been old all his motherfucking life. It's like Benjamin Button, but this nigga don't get younger. He just stay old for all his fucking life. This nigga got Greg Oden syndrome. If you don't know who the fuck Greg Oden is, look that nigga up. God damn, that nigga was a 19-year-old, 65-year-old face ass nigga. That nigga face looked at all. I was like, ooh, shit, this nigga here is old than a motherfucker. But you know, every goddamn movie Morgan Freeman play in, this nigga is smarter than the average bear. This mother, I don't even think some of his goddamn roles is meant for him to be smart, but this nigga just make the shit smart. Even when he was in Now You See Me, which wasn't, it was like this nigga doing magic shit, and this shit just seemed like this nigga just on a more intellectual level than a lot of motherfuckers, man. This nigga just really smart. And then you got Dave Chappelle, who in many regards of a lot of motherfuckers is a comedic goddamn genius. Period. And the reason why they say that shit is just because he just have a whole, the way his shit, the way he just comes at jokes is, man, Jesus Christ, man. So this motherfucker Dave Chappelle comes out and he gives you an hour and 5 minutes, hour 5, hour 4 minutes, 64 minutes, 65, between 63 and 65 minutes of just pure genius, man. Now here's a disclaimer for all you motherfuckers that don't watch Chappelle stand up, or if you are, or you may have seen Chappelle's show, you like Chappelle's show, but you never seen it stand up for whatever reason. If you are not one, if you don't have some kind of intellect, if you have a very, very short attention span, if you don't have an open mind, this shit ain't gonna be for you. I'm just being honest with you, man. If you like that instant gratification funny, and where they just making you just want to laugh. If you just want to laugh, you don't give a fuck about, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you niggas just talking about all kind of dumbass shit, like I give you an example of what I mean by that. Like this one of my favorite comedians in the Atlanta comedy scene, which by the way that's where I am, that has one of the best, if not the best, comedy scene outside of New York in America. One of my favorite comedians is LeVar Walker, and he has this video of how he talk about how old comedians still doing old nigga jokes, like black comedians doing old nigga jokes, and he was like, remember back in the day when they had the little TV on top of the big TV and TV went off? Ha! If you like jokes like that, this shit ain't for you. Cause it's highly intelligent without him trying to be. This special, The Age of Spin, was flawless. That shit was flawless. He got a bit about transgenders. Oh my gosh. That shit was so goddamn funny. I'm talking about tears down my face, nigga. That bit was so goddamn funny. I was like, yo, this nigga's amazing. This nigga was amazing, man. I seen, after that, I typed in Dave Chappelle on Google, and I just looked up all the news things that popped up about him. And I saw one of the headlines. It was saying the LGBTQ community is upset about Dave Chappelle and his blah, 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 blah. I ain't even click on the shit because I didn't want to look at that. One thing you'll know about me is like I'm all about energy and getting my energy right, nigga.
I'm trying to be successful, and one of the things I try not to do is I try not to let negative shit corrupt my energy, man. I don't give a fuck where it come from, nigga. I'm talking about it could come from my goddamn parents, nigga. If Jesus came back from the from heaven today and that nigga was being petty, I'd be like, yo, my man, I'm gonna need you to fly your ass back up to heaven where you came from. Go on with that negative shit, dog. I feel you perfect in everything, my man, but I'm gonna need you to go on head on with that bullshit. Cause you fucking with me, you fucking me up right now, dude. For real. But man, that bit about the LGBTQ community is fucking fuck it. I tell it because shit, it's on Netflix. Nigga, you can watch the shit if you haven't seen it. He was basically saying that fuck that. Nah, you gotta go see that shit, dog. But one of the act outs, oh my fuck it, you gotta go see that shit. It's the shit that had me crying was about the time when he worked with this. He said he worked with this transgender back in Hollywood, and she would just walk around the boardroom in her heels, looking with a scowl on her face, and then she'll stand at the head of the boardroom table, pull her old dick out and throw it on the table. It's like, let's talk business, gentlemen. Ah! That shit had me fucking crying. Please, if you have not watched that, you gotta watch that shit. The other thing that shows his brilliance is one, he does a series of callbacks throughout his set that are fucking phenomenal, and his callback at the end, his closer, amazing. And then the great thing about it is the motherfucker also he did these it was almost he did these 4 instances in his set. He talks about 4 instances in his set where he met O.J. Simpson. And he did those shit so cold. He did it like a fucking interlude to an album. And then on top of that, he closed with it. He like did 3 interludes and an outro of 4 instances where he met O.J. Simpson, and man, that shit was funny. And the great thing about it was the 4 instances that he had was so simple, it was brilliant. And that's the crazy thing about brilliance. A lot of motherfuckers think brilliance is complex. No, brilliance does not have to be complex. Brilliance sometimes is just the awareness that you have to know when to be complex and when to just keep things simple. To keep things simple. I know I said simple because I was about to say when to simplify certain things. So for all you detail-oriented niggas that heard that shit and catch shit like how I do, because I catch shit in the I motherfuckers can't just keep shit away from me. Like I catch on too quick. I notice shit. For all you niggas like me that heard that shit, fuck y'all. But I love you. But the brilliance to me throughout this whole motherfucking thing for me was Dave Chappelle's stories. This what made him brilliant to me was his storytelling. Because when Dave tells stories, and especially in this special, The Age of Spin, when he told these stories, this nigga just didn't tell stories. He told movies. There's a difference. He didn't just tell the story. It was like a fucking movie. His act outs, the way he performed the way he embodied the characters, it was like and then the picture that he painted was just so vivid that it sucked you in, and you almost, for if you didn't have, if he didn't have a microphone and you didn't know that he was doing that an audience was around, you would swear you was watching a one-man show when he does his stories or when he tells his stories. The voice inflections change. His delivery change. His pitches change. The way he interacts with himself changes. It's crazy, nigga. It's almost like this motherfucker has fucking dissociative identity disorder when he goes into his shit. But that's how committed he is to his characters when he did. And that shit just was brilliant to me. And I was like, this shit look like this, when he tell a story, that shit like I'm watching a movie. Like I'm with him. I'm in there with him the whole fucking time. I get it. That shit, that first special was just flawless, nigga. I was like, damn, that nigga good. A lot of motherfuckers be like, man, that nigga was so good, man. That motherfucker make me think about not doing comedy no more. Bullshit. Not me. I don't give a fuck how good a nigga is. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do what the fuck I do. And that's how you gotta be. That's just having an unwavering confidence within yourself that I don't give a fuck what this man is doing. He doing what he doing, and he doing it to the best of his ability, but that shit ain't stopping me. Fuck that. I don't even like when niggas, to be honest with you, I don't even like when niggas play put they self down. Like, you like a bitch to me after that shit. And the reason why I feel like I have merit to say that is because I used to be that nigga, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you some advice from a former nigga that used to put himself down and say shit like that. Stop doing it. Have confidence in yourself, nigga. That shit is not attractive to no fucking body. And when I say attractive, I'm not talking about like on some intimate level, but you attract people, you attract certain energies that you put out as well. If you always putting yourself down, you're going to be around some lonely, miserable, down-putting ass niggas, and you don't want that shit in your life. You want to be around upbeat, energetic motherfuckers that know what the hell they talking about and can push you to another level that you never even knew you had based upon the confidence level that they have within themselves, motherfucker. Stop putting yourself fucking down. For all you niggas that do comedy or are comedians that was like, nigga, that nigga Dave Chappelle killed that shit, so that nigga made me want to stop doing comedy. Well, get the fuck out. If that shit made you stop wanting to do comedy, nigga, get the fuck out. Comedy don't need you, nigga. We don't need you. And that confidence right there, you sound like a whole hoe out this bitch. Let me say it again. You sound like a whole hoe out this bitch. Believe in yourself, motherfucker. And how the fuck are you doing comedy with that kind of attitude? You must be one of them niggas that get on stage and you laugh at your own jokes all the fucking time. And it's like, that shit is annoying too. Get your goofy ass off the goddamn stage. But anyway, that shit was flawless. The second special, Deep in the Heart of Texas. To me, that shit was effortless. It was kind of like he put out, it was like those two specials were like polar opposites of each other. The first one was a fucking concert film. Like, you really felt like, it felt like it had a Kevin Hart vibe to it. Like, oh, this nigga. He took the time out. The nigga had an outfit. The fucking whole background and the other shit. The nigga came up. He had smoke and all that other shit. I mean, he had smoke in the second special too and everything like that. But
The second special, he looked a lot more relaxed. More like he was. The nigga looked like he just came from a fucking family barbecue. Let's just be honest. The nigga, he just got on some jeans, a shirt, t-shirt, nigga. He didn't make it feel like a concert film. He just felt like he just made it. The energy that it gave off was that of, I'm just gonna talk to y'all. And that's what the fuck he did. Like a part in the middle of his set, he sits on a stool. He asks motherfuckers for a cigarette. They throw cigarettes up at him. One nigga bring him a cigarette and he spark up a goddamn cigarette and just start talking. Just sitting down on the stage talking. Nigga, Kevin Hart would never sit down on the fucking stage in front of, I don't give a fuck if not for a special. He would not sit on no stage and just sound like he just casually having a conversation with you during his special. Possibly for a show, because that's just an intimate vibe. 9 times out of 10, the reason why a lot of comedians getting on, 9 times out of 10, if he on stage and he just sitting down, he probably just fleshing out some material, whatever the case may be, which is the reason why a lot of comedians go out on the road and do 150 fucking shows, because nigga, those shows are practice for the goddamn Super Bowl. And as I said before, the Super Bowl is what, ladies and gentlemen? The special. Good job, you motherfuckers. So that's what that is. His second special was just effortless, man. Effortless. It was great. That shit was great, man. He had some callbacks throughout that one, man. But in my opinion, the first special, Age of Spin, that shit was a concert. That shit was a concert film. It was a I honestly believe that he could have put that shit out in theaters and that shit would have went gangbusters, nigga. I think he would have broke all kinds of records. And this nigga's right on time, man. This nigga is right on time. Dave Chappelle, what he was talking about and what he was doing was right on time for this era, and why the fuck we needed it, man. We needed that shit, dude. That motherfucker just did that shit. That was amazing. That was a fucking amazing 2 sets of specials. I like Age of Spin more because of the layers that it had to it. It just, that special just had so many layers to it, and it was just phenomenally written. The delivery of it was phenomenal. The timing of it was phenomenal. And the callbacks, just it was just so well thought out that I just enjoyed it, man. Like, you can tell that he took his time on that, and he took that shit seriously. And I guess what I like about the Age of Spin is the craftsmanship of that whole special. And that's why I appreciate that shit, man. That nigga just embodied something great. And let me tell you some also shit that they did that was fucking dope. This nigga is a comedian. And he used 2 comedians for a punchline and a tagline in a bit about Kevin Hart. He used Kevin Hart as a punchline about a story that he encountered with Kevin. This nigga he used Kevin Hart as a joke, as a punchline in a Kevin Hart joke. Like, the shit was fucking crazy. Did a story about Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart was the punchline, and Cat Williams was the tagline. And he joked about Bill Cosby, Kevin Hart, and Cat Williams in one thing, in one bit. This motherfucker is a comedian doing jokes about 3 other comedians. That was dope to me, man. That shit was fucking dope to me. I was like, yo, this nigga's amazing.
So yeah, that was that. Um, this week was an amazing fucking week, man. I was waiting on that goddamn those two specials like a fucking Jordan shoe release, nigga. They said that shit was coming out at 12 a.m., but they meant 12 a.m. Pacific time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time, and I was livid. I was like, what the fuck y'all mean y'all ain't got the shit out? What the fuck, yo? Why y'all can't put the shit out on different time for like different area time zones? But I guess they ain't figure out technology that much to figure that shit out, which is fucking retarded to me. It's 2017. Which, by the way, I thought we would have flying cars by now. The fucking Jetsons lied, so I think we need to sue Hanna-Barbera about this shit. These niggas was living in the year 2000. In the year 2000, we still had regular startup with the fucking key in the ignition cars. How disappointing was that shit for a nigga childhood? I'll tell you. Very. Oh, man. But anyway. Is there anything else I want to talk about other than Chappelle and movies, nigga? No, I think that's it, man. I think that's all the fuck I want to talk about. Cause I'm that type of dude, man. I'm an introvert at heart. Um, I gain energy. Well, I don't even say I gain energy, but I feel comfortable in isolation. I enjoy myself. There was this famous football player that's now struggling to get in the fucking Hall of Fame named T.O. And one of his biggest things what he used to say was, man, I love me some me. And that's how I feel about me. Nigga, I love me some me. And I'm not talking about when I'm jacking off. I just love my time to myself. Like, talking to me is dope. Talking to other people, nah, I don't give a fuck about that much. Um, but yeah, I enjoy talking to me, man. So it is this podcast. What is it? It's Thursday. I guess I could start doing like a Friday podcast. Niggas probably be more apt to listen to my shit on a Friday. Maybe, maybe not. Who the fuck knows? But it's all about the attempt, right? So that's pretty fucking amazing, man. That's an amazing thing. Oh, I do have some talking points. One of the things that I've been doing too is because, like I said earlier in the podcast, is nigga, I'm trying to be something. I'm trying to accomplish some shit in my lifetime, and being successful, I guess, is what you call it. And one of the things they say all successful people have in common is being grateful. Because when you're grateful and you show gratitude about the shit that you have, it opens up doors for you to get more shit, right? So what I've been doing lately, for the past year, well, since this year started, which was ironically less than 90 days ago, was being grateful, man. And what I've been doing is writing down all the things that I'm grateful for. Thank you, God, for X, Y, and Z. And I want to issue that challenge to everybody that's listening to this podcast. Write down the things you're grateful for, man. You know, the more you're grateful for, the more the more doors that are open to you, man. Just say thank you. Just say fucking thank you, because there's spiritual properties that come with that saying thank you, that just have wonderful effects on your life, man. And whatever you want for yourself, whatever you believe that you can have and you can attain, you can fucking actually have those things, man. Anything that you want in your mind can be brought into fruition, man. Think about that shit. If you wear earrings like I do, it amazes me that in somebody's mind, the thought of an earring back a earring back came from someone's mind. That shit is just immaculate to me. Something as small as that. And you know the crazy thing about it is there are even smaller things that people have made than an earring back. But the smallest thing like that to even the biggest fucking thing in the world, which we all know is the Burj Khalifa, all that shit came from somebody's fucking mind, man. So what the hell make the people that invented those two things any less different from you? Nothing. So I guess to close out this podcast, because I don't want to leave a whole bunch of dead air, I would just say take that challenge with me. Take that fucking challenge with me. Oh, you know what? I do want to talk about one more thing. One more thing that I'm gonna get the fuck off this shit, man. You know what? Fuck it. I'll save it for the next time. I'm gonna talk about challenging myself. And one of the challenges that I'm trying but miserably failing at is I'm gonna stop jacking off, nigga. Stop masturbating. I just want to see what the fuck happens. I had read this shit. Well, not read. I listened to this video because like I said, I'm trying to just be successful and figure out what the fuck successful people do. And in this book called Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about sexual transmutation and how great people have high sex drives. I guess you can say they have very high sex drives, and how they use that sex drive to basically drive them to success, and how you have to use that aggression that you build up, because nigga, you get aggressive when you don't bust a nut. And how they use that aggression to fuel their dreams and fuel their passions. So I'm trying to fucking do that. I'm on day 4 now, and it's March 23rd. It's March 23rd, 2017. Probably when you hear this, it'll probably be the 24th or the 25th. But yeah, so I'm keeping my hands to myself. I've done it before. The longest I ever been without busting one off was 17 days. And by the 17th day, nigga, I felt like I could run through a goddamn steel wall and not hurt myself. But the benefits, they say, of that are amazing. Like your voice gets deeper, and you have a more attractive, it's the spiritual benefits that come from that more so than physical benefits. Like you attract more women. For men, you attract more women in your life to you, because you're not just letting off your seed. And it just has like I said, I'm gonna talk about the shit in depth of the possible quote unquote, I'm doing air quotations right now, the possible quote unquote benefits of not ejaculating all willy-nilly. But I do know one of these for sure is that when you ejaculate a whole fucking lot, you do get tired for men. And what they say for men is that men, we have to keep our seed in order for us to live a longer life, because you know those proteins and enzymes and all the other shit that are in sperm go back in, it gets redirected back into the body and redistributed, or whatever the fucking case may be. And they also say after like 7 days of not jacking off, your testosterone levels get high, and that's what attracts women to you, is that your testosterone levels get high, you start to release pheromones and all this other goofy shit. But I'm giving the fucking shit a shot. I'm taking the experiment on myself, because I'm all for testing shit out, and if it fucking works out well for me, I just keep doing the shit. But anyway, in closing, I would like for you all that are listening to this podcast, if you enjoyed yourself, to take on the challenge with me of being grateful for shit, man. Every day you wake up, write, I don't know how many things. I'm not gonna say write 10 things, because then if you don't write 10 things, you you might feel like, oh man, I'm not grateful for enough things. No, nigga, that's probably just the things you probably only remember at that time. So don't beat yourself up about it. I'm not gonna tell you to write down a list of 10 things, but what I will say is write down as many things that can come to your mind when you wake up first thing in the morning that you can be grateful for. If that's 5 things, 10 things, 20 things, however many things that you can think of or your time allots you to before you go to work or do whatever the hell you finna do for the day, write down those things that you are grateful for. If you can't find no pen and paper, write it down in your phone. That's what I do. When first thing in the morning, usually, nigga, we all grabbing our phone. So while you got your phone in your hand, if you got a notepad on that bitch or Evernote or whatever the fuck you use or whatever kind of note thing that you got in that bitch, take the time out while you looking at your phone, not doing shit, but other than lurking on goddamn Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and all that other shit, not liking motherfuckers' posts or commenting and no shit like that, to just say thank you, man. And that shit, from what I understand, it will make tremendous strides in your life and do wonders. It'll do fucking wonders, man. So that's it for me. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna name this podcast yet. I don't want to use talking to myself monologues no more. I haven't fucking figured that out. Shit, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I name this goddamn podcast. But if you listening, whoever may be listening to this shit, and if you got to this goddamn far, thank you, God. God bless you. Whoever you are that got to listen to this fucking podcast, I appreciate you. And nigga, I'ma just keep trying to put these shits out on a weekly basis. I may even do it on a daily basis till I get me some fucking followers up. Who the fuck knows, man? Because I think about shit all the time, all day, every day. And seeing that I'm in the house for 5 days out the week because I ain't got no job and comedy shows are kind of going slow right now. Nigga, I'm just chilling. So who the fuck knows? I might put out one tomorrow and post that shit on Saturday. But if you have any ideas for what this podcast can be named and you made it to this fucking point, hit me up on my comment section below. You can either DM me through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My Twitter is @Milt2Funny. My Instagram is @Milt2Funny. That's MILTO. No, I'm sorry. That's MILT, the number 2, funny, FUNNY. Again, my name is Milton. So the first 4 letters of my name, MILT. The number 2, funny. And there you have it. I'm gonna look into my numerology and shit if I have like favorite numbers that I don't fucking know, like great numbers that'll help me I guess attract better results or whatever the case may be. Who the fuck knows? I don't know, nigga. But anyway, that's it for this podcast for the day. Today again is Thursday, March 23rd, 2017, and I am Milton Hall. I appreciate y'all for listening, whoever was listening. Y'all enjoy y'all day and the rest of y'all week. I'll holla.